I'm live. Hello, hello. Today, I'm excited because it's the last in my four-part webinar series that I've been working on. Oops, wrong page. I have to go all the way back to the beginning. This isn't very professional, but I'm just being real. We're going to be talking about how to build a productive and trusting relationship with your assistant, your office manager, your employee. I am relating it to virtual assistants or virtual collaborators, as we call them in our company. However, this goes for anybody. And normally what I wanted to do originally was have a conversation with my personal assistant or another one of my older personal assistants. And unfortunately, because of the way the internet is right now, I can't make that happen. So what I'm going to do, I have an interview with Christine on the Business Misfits podcast, my podcast that I put out weekly, coming up. And she's my melody manager. She's my executive assistant. And I think it would be really interesting to deep dive with her about how she works with me, how she's able to handle me and my energy and all of the flaws and what works, what doesn't, all that kind of stuff. But also I can't do that today because I have to pick up my son in like 40 minutes. So let's begin. Today, we're just going to talk about long-term success, how to make it work. And the things I want to talk about are, what's an assistant versus a collaborator? How do you build trust? How do you get communication to work? How do you delegate successfully? What tools and systems do we use to stay organized in terms of our communication and our collaboration? And then how do you keep somebody long-term? And I'm going to go into various different directions. So I think when people start with a virtual assistant, most business owners think that they want a task doer, but they also want something else that they haven't thought about. So they might start by wanting somebody who's just going to take the repetitive tasks off their plate. And then they start to get upset when they realize that their assistant isn't proactive, doesn't know what they need, and needs them, the business owner, to always take the lead. But there's a lot of things that go into making that kind of relationship. It can naturally happen if you find that unicorn, but I actually work hard to make those relationships happen. And it's not hard work. It's just I put in the time. And it's not even a lot of time. There's lots of different ways to do it. I'm going to talk about it. But you need to make your assistant a true member of your team. You have to share your goals with them. You have to ask for their ideas. Because if you treat them kind of like a robot, they won't grow with you. They're not going to grow, and they're going to outgrow you very fast. If there's somebody who they might stay for a while if they're getting paid well, or, but they're eventually going to want more for their life. That's what most people want. So what is an assistant? An assistant needs detailed instructions. They wait for specific directions. They work within the scope of what you tell them. Don't really go outside of that. They take very little initiative. They rarely suggest improvements or try different approaches. They stick to what you say again. They're more of a reactive communicator. They respond to messages, but they don't tend to initiate. And the communication is often more transactional. They focus on completing tasks, and they probably do good work, but you may not see but they don't understand what your goal is for the business. So there's a lot of things that people miss when they don't understand the full context of what you're trying to build. They partake in limited decision-making opportunities. They rely on you for all strategy, all priorities, And then they have more of a transactional mindset. They view tasks as isolated things rather than building towards, larger goals. And the difference between that and a collaborator is actually a lot. A collaborator is a proactive in helping you with planning and strategy. They can learn how to think more strategically. They can offer improvements, suggestions for improvement. They can help you strategize for long-term success. They can be your eyes looking in places where you might not see, because we don't know it all. Our view, even though we think we're the smartest, we're not, because we miss an outside perspective, and having an assistant who's willing to give you that is really key. They can be really innovative in the way that they help you solve problems. They can contribute with ideas, they can streamline processes, and they can even help you increase revenue, decrease costs. I'm not saying that everybody can do this. I'm just saying these are some of the things that can happen when you build a collaborative relationship with the right person. And then, they brainstorm with you. They will give you ideas or help you with ideas, and they're going to focus more on the outcome and the impact, and they're going to look beyond your to-do list. So they can do a lot of things, and they also really focus on the relationship because you've created that and allowed them to build that with you. The biggest thing that comes into play is building trust and communication with somebody. But to begin with, I'm going to talk about psychological safety, and I don't want to trigger anybody. This is not about safe spaces. It's about work. So a Harvard business professor, Amy Edmondson, she's the one who kind of popularized this idea of psychological safety at work. And it'll make perfect sense to you once I start to explain. So employees and teams who feel that psychological safety are more effective, more creative, more adaptable. But a lot of times your VA is coming to you with a history of negative feedback, bad bosses. They have boss trauma, as I call it. They work in a punitive environment, and it makes people very, very cautious. They don't want to be engaged because they have been burned time and again by other bosses. What makes you so different? And it can make them play it really, they're going to stick to the exact thing that you want to avoid mistakes. I've had assistants who had such boss trauma that they could not get outside of this. And I've found a lot of my assistants struggle with this in general. So what does it look like at work? Your employee feels comfortable expressing their ideas, their concerns, dealing with mistakes or telling you about mistakes, and getting feedback without fearing negative consequences, and giving feedback as well. You're not going to embarrass them or shame them or punish them or do damage to their reputation. It's just a shared belief within your organization or your company that to take a risk with you as a boss or to put themselves out there with you is a safe thing to do. They feel free to be themselves, to bring their unique perspectives to you and your company. And that's really, really valuable. And they're going to be willing to speak up when there's issues or innovative ideas that they might have. They're going to learn from how you think. They're going to be more excited about the work. They're going to understand that mistakes are treated as learning opportunities. They're not treated as something that, is going to be punished or shamed. They're open to, they understand that dialogue with you and with your team members is going to be encouraged, even if there's different opinions. I love Denise on my team because she and I talk about this often, and I say it out loud. She is my debate partner. She pushes back on my ideas. You need that in your company. You need somebody who's not just going to push back for the sake of pushing back, but who's going to have the needs of the company. Just like I have the company in my head, she also has the company in her head. We have different perspectives of the company, the people, and all sorts of things. And so I love those debates with her. I don't feel um, like I'm not scared of them. I don't get angry at her, and she feels safe to have them with me. So there's just a sense of respect throughout your company. And that is a lot based on how you build your culture in your company. And that's not really too much of what I'm going to talk about today, but maybe another class. So let's assume that you hired the right person. Why wouldn't a VA be proactive? Why wouldn't they be a collaborator? Well, the first thing is they might fear stepping outside of their job role. They're taught not to do that. They're taught to be task doers. Um, they're taught not to offer unsolicited feedback. We've worked with clients who didn't end up working long term with the VA because they were proactive and were offering feedback. And that's not what the client wanted, which to me is crazy. I think everybody should want feedback, even if you're not going to use it. And that VA went on to, the one I'm thinking of, went on to be successful with another client, but it just wasn't the right pick for him because that's not what he wanted. They're going to hold back on their ideas or recommendations, and they're going to wait for permission to speak up. And we don't remember sometimes to give permission. That's a weird concept in America. So, in order to make sure that that's not happening, you need to create psychological safety, make sure that ideas are encouraged to be shared, and you have to tell them often that you welcome their suggestions, that you want their input. Even if it's a disagreement, you are okay with disagreements and debates. Healthy debates are encouraged in my company. I wish more people would debate me. And I know my husband would probably laugh right now because he is not one of those people who agrees that with me on debates and disagreements being healthy. But it's not for the point of fighting. It's debate is there to see both sides of a thing. So both parties have to be open to seeing what the other person is talking about. And that's what I think makes it work within a work structure. Well, you know what I mean. The other reason it might not work is because there's transactional compensation, or it's a transactional relationship. So maybe you're hiring somebody and they're paid based on task completion. I know for me, I do hire people in Fiverr or Upwork at times that are based on a one set amount for a job, or they might be salary. You might be paying somebody a salary. And so there's really no incentive for them to be big picture thinking. And that means they don't really invest the time in thinking or strategic thinking or looking for ways to improve. And so in these cases, because we don't pay in that way, but I would consider doing performance-based pay or project-based bonuses. But I like to recognize the soft skills that people have. In HSVA, we have HSVA CARES, and CARES stands for curiosity, A is accountability, R, I have to spell it out or else I don't remember, resourcefulness, E is emotional intelligence, and S is self-motivated. And those are the things that we really look for in people that work within our company, because those are the things we found, those are the traits that we found to be the best success indicators within our company. Yours are probably different, but you should be recognizing and rewarding proactivity, accountability, things like that. That's what's going to make a difference. Now, on the other side of it, why isn't it working for the business owner? Well, sometimes our expectations are very unclear. Our clients don't, we don't explain what we need or what we want to see as an outcome. We basically make it so that the assistant focuses on completing the task again, or a checklist, without seeing how it fits into a larger goal. And a lot of times, because we move so fast, if we're not talking about the bigger goals, the bigger vision, the quarterly goals, whatever it may be, they're going to be looking at just what's in front of them, and they're going to miss context. So always provide context. Be sharing your goals, your short term, your long term, your objectives, your for where you want them to see, where you want to see them go, and how their role can support you in reaching those goals or your company. The second one is poor communication, instructions, feedback that are inconsistent, unclear. I am so guilty of this in my past, and I'm still guilty of it at times, even though I try really, really hard. But it's hard to communicate in a way that is clear every time. So we've created systems within our company, some of which I'll show you, that help to make sure that what I'm saying is what my assistant or what my team is hearing. But what it means is they, again, maybe we're not giving them enough time for things because they don't understand it. We may be expecting one thing, getting another. Like I talk about pizza, donuts. I might be saying pizza, and one of my employees might be hearing donuts because we communicate in different ways. So you have to be updating people regularly about your business goals, the bigger picture, the insight. I'm going to keep coming back to this over and over. Schedule regular meetings with them where you discuss what's working, what's not working, and all that kind of stuff. The third thing is poor training or a complete lack of training. If you don't give them the guidance and the tools and the resources to do the job well, then they can't do the job well. It's going to be a miracle if they do. So they might have experience with admin tasks, but they might not have experience doing it the way that you do it. Or they might be really good at, different parts of the job and be weaker in other areas. That's totally normal. But, they might be able to do jobs thinking, problem solving and things like that. But it doesn't mean that that they're going to approach their job like that, because when people are undertrained, they feel underconfident, and then they are not going to be able to give you their best. And so you need to provide good training. I would set up your training ahead of time always. Make sure you have a plan. I was a fly by the seat of my pants person. Sometimes I still am, can't lie. But the more that the years go on, like the more detailed our trainings get, the more I put into them. You need to provide mentorship to this person. Make sure that they have resources like classes. I like Udemy as a starting point for classes that are reasonably priced, and there's some really good ones. They're scored, so you can tell if they're good or not. There's other platforms as well. Give them examples of problem solving or creative thinking that you value, or the way that you are solving a problem. Like if you're about to solve a problem, make a quick video. If it's a screen share and show how you're solving a problem that came up, or just make a voice memo and talk it out, because these are examples that can be used to train people in your company to think more like you. We don't need people to be like us, but we need them to understand how we think so that they can be more strategic in our place. And then the one I always talk about, no trust, which leads to micromanagement. So sometimes because we don't trust, we're monitoring every single thing that they do to start with, and we don't delegate properly. And so it becomes this cycle of us micromanaging, spending 8 hours on a Zoom, showing them a step-by-step for 8 hours, and then wondering why they don't get it. Well, you can't train somebody for 8 hours and expect them to remember. Plus, we'll talk in all different directions and go into different areas, when really, if you just make short, simple training videos focused on one topic, that's the easiest way to train. It keeps you out of it so that you don't have to be with them while you're training, so that they can learn the basics one step at a time without you inserting things they don't need yet. So, they're really going to stick to just the tasks you give them. They're not going to be proactive. They're not empowered at all. And it's our fault when that happens. So you really have to stop thinking about the way that you do things, period, as being the right way. Think about the outcome that you want. Always think about the outcome, not how you get there. Now, sometimes it is important to think about the hows, but maybe instead of the step-by-step, you're giving them a framework or guidelines, or, this is this is, what do I call it? Denise calls it, what are your oh, forget it. I can't remember. But sometimes a VA is the wrong fit. The skills might not match the tasks that they're giving. Well, you might have hired wrong. And now once you've hired somebody, because hiring is so hard and exhausting, and firing is even harder and more exhausting mentally, you're stressed now. Some of us, especially those with those owner mentalities, like extreme ownership as a leader, spend more time training, more time giving instructions, doing it in different ways to see if that will help, when really they're not the right match for you. They might be super smart, they might be the wrong match for this role. And so you have to use, like, I love our process-based system. I invented it because of me making mistakes over and over again, so that you can quickly see if they're a good communication match and if they understand at the level that you need them to. I'll be showing you that in a minute. If you don't give them permission to collaborate, and instead, just giving them, basically, you need to give them permission. That's what it comes down to. I give permission all the time, especially in the beginning of my relationships. I tell people all the time, I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear your ideas. I want to know what you're thinking. And it's still hard for people to tell me their ideas, because it's scary to tell your boss things, even if I'm making space for it. It's maybe not this enough space for them sometimes. And so you have to always try to figure out, how can you get people's ideas out of their brain into, and let that, have them trust you. It's building that, psychological trust in the workspace, in your business. And then reinforcing that, continuously give permission, and then take their ideas seriously when they give them a lot of praise, when they give you ideas or give you their input. If you can't take it, like if it's an idea that you can't implement, say, this is an amazing idea. I'm going to think on this, and then later come back and say, you know what, I love this idea. There are parts of it that I think I'll take, but here's why I don't think the full thing can work. So you're giving them that, you're giving them some feedback that's positive, while also not having to do the thing if it doesn't work for you guys. The last one is not prioritizing the relationship. Owners tend to treat VAs sometimes as a task doer. They're not investing the time to build the relationship. So the VA remains an outsider in your company. They're just an outsider in your world. If it's your assistant, that's even worse. They need to be integrated into your team's culture and into your vision. So how do you do that? You need to schedule regular calls with them, one-on-ones. You need to make sure that you have weekly meetings with them. I've learned later that some of our clients haven't met with their VAs for months, and I think that's insane. If you want somebody who's going to be the next level for you, you have to meet with them. They're not mind readers. You have to make them a part of your team so that they are included in the team meetings and the leadership meetings, if that's part of their, if they're supporting you as a leader. Like, if you're in meetings every day, they need to watch those meetings or be in them, because how else are they going to learn how you think? And then, just have open discussions about making sure that you're not making a static role for them, but looking beyond just the role they have right now in your company, and offering a place in the future that they might be able, like, I want people to grow in my company. I actually don't keep assistants very long. And it's not because I'm a horrible person, I promise. It's because at a certain point, we start to see the areas of brilliance. We start to see the areas of weakness. And then I start to see the holes in my company that these people can fill now that they understand my brain. And I would love to keep the same assistant for 20 years. That would be great. But people, again, have other dreams for themselves as well. And I hope somebody dreams of just supporting me for the rest of their life. That would be great. I think Christine's told me many times, like, I will work for you as long as you need me to work for you, and she's very supportive. And also, I know she has another role in this company to fill. So that's how I approach it. But if you want somebody to stay long-term, I think I'm going to talk about that a little later, but You have to think about those things. So what I was talking about before, in every single webinar, I think I've talked about this system. It's the simplest but most brilliant of all my systems that has helped so many hundreds of people be successful in the way that they train and support their assistant. You're going to just write down all of the tasks that you're going to delegate. You're going to make a video for each one of those tasks, no more than 10 minutes each, because you want them to be just focused on the one thing. If you have like how to book a client in your business, but you do commercial and residential work, you need to make a video for how to book a commercial client, how to book a residential client. You have to think of how to break it down to the simplest way. And also, don't teach them things that you had to learn the hard way just because you learned it the hard way. Don't teach them your software. The software can teach them. But have them watch your videos. They create a process sheet that's just a quick bullet point, and it allows you to see, do they understand me? Do they understand the way I communicate? Are we on the same page? Did I miss anything? And when you do this over and over, you are very, very quickly going to see if somebody's the right match for you. And you have to listen to that gut instinct. The other thing is, every day, they have to show transparent accountability. End of day report. This is a simple way to do it. They just outline everything they did for the whole day. They put it into a channel. We put things in Slack or Click. We use different softwares for this, but whatever you use to communicate, there should be a channel where you can see and they can see that this is what they're doing. You don't want them to keep their list to themselves, because that's when things start to get to slide. You'll be able to see if they need more work and they're just afraid to tell you because they don't want to lose hours with you. Like, there's all of these psychological things that come up, and you need to make sure to do the bigger thinking because you're the leader. And you're going to lead them. But you should be empowering them to be showing leadership skills. And one of those is being accountable for their own work, because they're adults, they're grown-ups. The other one that I really, really love, that I didn't invent the idea of creating a project template. What I created, because I'm lazy, I'm not lazy, I'm actually not, but thinking is so hard. So what I do is I talk out my projects in a video, and then I have whoever's doing the project put it into the template, write in all the areas. When I look at that, I can see what's missing in that template. I can see what I forgot to talk about. I can see if they forgot to add something, because it's so much easier to see what's missing than it is to just make things from scratch, right? So I can't believe it. I might make the time that I'm trying to make. So let's talk about communication, because these are little mini-sodes. They're not like full webinars. We'll go back to those next month. So as a business owner, as the leader of your company, it's up to us to have awareness of our communication. That's why we use DISC in our company. I found it to be very helpful as a tool for helping people to understand each other's behavior in a work environment. And we need to know what triggers us, how we communicate best. And so our goal is really in our company to compress the amount of time it takes to develop that trusting collaboration, that collaborative relationship with another person. And DISC just helps you dive deeper quicker. And it measures how you prefer to interact with other types of personalities. So they have the D for dominance, I for influence, S steadiness, C for conscientiousness. And you need to understand each style's basics. So dominant, they're direct, they want results, they like quick decisions. I's are more like social butterflies. They're enthusiastic, they're energy, they love talking and sharing ideas. Do you think I'm an I? Yes, I am. Partially an I. S is support. They are your back support system people. They like peace. They're not going to be your debate partner. They like to work at a steady pace. They're not go, go, go. And then C's are detail-oriented, analytical. They usually work slower because they have to look at all the details. They care about accuracy. We are all of these things, but some of us are higher in certain parts. And so you need to adapt your communication to the personality of the person you're working for. So if somebody is a D, you want to be brief, you want to show results, you want to be clear. If they're an I, you're going to be friendly and open and acknowledge their ideas and then tell your stuff. If they're supportive, an S, you're going to offer them reassurance. You're going to give them clear steps and encourage them to give you input. And for a C, you're going to provide your instructions with data, logic, allow for processing time. And people are not, again, just one thing, but you can learn more about the psychology of communication. And the more you learn, the better you're going to get at it. That psychological safety is really important because it will, it'll just help you a lot. So, I mean, DISC will help you a lot to create that. So in the beginning, you need to know each of your styles. You can take a DISC, come to our company website, homeserviceva.com. You can actually buy DISC codes on our website, and then we can actually give you the DISC for you, anybody else, and then we can give you the integrations of those DISCs. There's a report for that. So like a DC might like to do organized project boards. An IS might want to do video calls or group chats. You need to, do regular check-ins with people and kind of make sure that people are heard. In those, you need to be quick. You need to find the balance between the quick and the detailedness, and just make sure everybody's opinions feels heard, and that you are also heard. And then for anybody, you should be recognizing their success, their achievements, always be boosting morale and getting people set up for success and building confidence. So this is another thing you need to think about. How do you like to give information versus how do you like to receive information? I didn't think about this until a few years ago, and I had been trying to conform to the standard of this is before voice memo was in Slack and all of these other programs. I was just typing my thoughts, but I could never type my thoughts fast enough. And it was frustrating because I didn't feel like I was able to communicate well. And then I just would stop and then I wouldn't communicate. And once I figured out that voice memo was my key to success, video, like Loom videos, my key to success, that's all I do now. And people expect that from me because I'm very open about it. But I don't like to receive voice memos unless I can speed them up. I like to be able to read because I think I'm just somebody who reads skimmer. I'm a skimmer basically. And so I can read very, very quickly, and it's how my brain takes in information. So that's my way, but you have to be cognizant of what your way is so that you can set your assistant or your office person up for success in their communication with you. So again, handling mistakes, giving feedback, you got to do it. Sometimes we hold it back because it's sometimes hard to be a boss, but you have to, you have to give them the feedback. It's what they really want also. So when they make a mistake, stay calm because they're learning. Ask them what happened. Don't assume. Give clear feedback on how to fix it. I noticed this mistake happened. What can we do to prevent it next time? I struggle with this because I give quick feedback. And so sometimes I don't mean it, but sometimes I'm just like, hey, you got to fix this because this thing doesn't look good. Well, they might have put a lot of time and energy into that, and I'm not taking the time to tell them and acknowledge that work, even though it's not the way I want it to be. So you have to make sure that you are providing encouragement and not creating fear. And just remember, like, your collaborator wants to do well. And if you make the space for them to do well, for mistakes, for learning, they're going to grow into a really great partner for you. But it's all how you frame it. It's all about you making a decision about how you're going to approach that relationship. The goal for me is always long-term collaboration. If you're looking for a task doer, that's okay. I've hired task doers. I continue to hire task doers at times for short-term relationships that are usually specific to one task. But if you're looking for collaborative relationships which is where the best ROI is. When somebody learns you, your company, your goals, and they stay long term, your company is going to thrive because you have that. And for people who have long-term employees, appreciate them more, because that's rare. It's not the norm. I tend to be able to keep people long term, but it's difficult if you don't have the right hiring process, the right training process, and the right culture in your company. So if you make somebody a collaborator, and they're the right kind of collaborator for you, they're going to stay longer, they're going to be happier, they're going to work better, and they're going to continue to grow, and so are you. So again, have regular check-ins, help them to grow and learn, ask them what they want to accomplish in a quarter, or what their goals are for the year. Show them appreciation, give them like little simple things, pats on the backs, bonuses unexpectedly. It doesn't have to be much to show appreciation. Sometimes just a video. I made a video yesterday for one of my team because I really appreciate something that they've been doing in our company that they might not have thought I noticed. I notice. And those are the pats on the back I want to give people, because it matters to me and it's going to matter to them. So let's talk about how we do it. So Home Service VA, we're not just a virtual assistant agency. I think you can tell that from the way I talk about building relationships and collaborations and all of the systems I've talked about. We are a partner or a collaborator in growth. So we are committed to connecting mission-driven business owners, people who care about people, and who want to work with well-trained assistants who get their training through us and continuously get training, who need streamlined operations, who want to drive efficiency in their company. That's what we do. We help people get there. We have a big heart. We want to create trusting relationships. We believe that in a supportive, aligned community, like when we're aligned on our mission, everyone can thrive and achieve success. And that's our goal, and inside of our company and for the companies we work with. Integrity guides everything we do in our company. Like, it is the cornerstone of our commitments to our clients, to our assistants, to my team. And I speak the language. That's why I'm a bad sales lady. I shouldn't say that out loud, but it's because I'm probably too honest. But I want you to understand that just because I'm saying things out loud, it's called integrity, and it's called being a partner. I want to make sure that people understand what we can do, what we can't do. If we make a mistake, I'm going to say it out loud and I'm going to fix it. Like, that's what integrity means to me. And so that's important. And I think the other thing in our company, no matter where people come from, we all share similar hopes and dreams and values. We all want security, the ability to care for the people that we love. We want respect, and we want a good life. And so we're committed to making this possible for everyone who works within our company. And the last part of what we are about innovation and training. I reject the status quo. I want to drive innovation at every step in our company, from our recruitment process to our customer journey. And we want to equip our assistants with the latest AI training and resources, while also making sure that we're not taking away from the human experience. Humanness matters. AI is not going to take away from that, and it's going to become more valuable. So we want to make sure that we can manage the tension between AI and having humans in a company right now, because this is what is happening. It's happening right now. It's not stopping, and it's going to continue to get more and more important. And so the past 2 years, I've been studying, I've been working in it, and we're focused on building it into our company so much that we will become kind of like, we'll be at the forefront of, AI education for mission-driven business owners, all while keeping a human-centered approach at the core of everything we do, because that's very important. Now, what does it look like to work with us? I'm calling it phase 1, but there's 2 different parts to what we do. The first part is we set you up for success, and it's a lot. We recruit and match. That's the basic thing that we're doing. We're going to find you the right person, make sure they match your needs. We create a customized training plan for them based on, I interview you or my team interviews you. We dive deep. We talk about communication. We dive into your brain and try to get the things out of your brain that are not naturally going to come out with our own thinking. We process map. If you have processes, we map them out for you. If you don't have processes or systems, we give you our own. We also give you 1 week of internal training for your assistant. Oh, come in. Oh, hold on 1 second, guys. Yeah. Okay.
Your tower, I wash your tower.
Okay. Thank you.
It's in dryer.
Thank you so much. I promise I won't leave it in the dryer.
Dryer. We have to take them because
okay.
on your tower, take a little bit time to dry, but maybe half hour is be dry.
Okay. Thank you. I promise. Thank you, Shama.
Clean, everything's good.
You're my hero.
I'm up floor, everything look nice. I take shampoo a little bit.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. You're the best. Thank you.
I leave him outside because it's hot outside.
Okay. Good. I have to go get Max soon. So
he likes to stay a little bit outside.
Okay.
I'll see you. Bye.
Bye. Sorry, guys. That's my mother-in-law who came to clean. Cannot disrespect her by not acknowledging her. But we train your assistant, but we do it customized to what your needs are. Some people want to be very involved in the training. Some people are scared to train somebody or have never done it before. And our trainer works with you to figure out what your needs are and how we can get somebody to integrate into your company the best way possible. And we provide you training as well. Like I have created videos that go deep into the cultural aspects because we work with Filipinos, deep into the mindset of the things that, we might, the common things that come up for a lot of people. Anyway, we also, in the second part of this, is where once you have a VA, once you have said yes to that match and you've got your training together, everything is ready and set up, that's when we start our back-end support. That's when we do what I call communication therapy, but just as onboarding. But we go through the disc and create a custom communication guide for you and your assistant. So we kind of act as like a communication therapist in the onboarding. That's my fun way of talking about it. We give you a support concierge. You and your assistant will be connected with the concierge for dedicated support, and they also will be connected with our community on the back end. All of our VAs will they'll have training with me monthly. They're getting inside my brain. They get to ask me questions and I can make video responses for them. You get to do the same when you work with us. We manage all HR and payroll. So we give benefits, learning opportunities. We upskill as much as we can and as much as you need. We have a library of skill building classes. All our past trainings are there. We're always updating that. And then we have systems and templates to fill in the gaps in your company. So there's a lot of things that we offer. And this is, if you think about it, for $16 an hour, that is what we are giving you, a person who is going to be a collaborator in your business. And we are going to be your partner in making sure that works. The value to me is huge. So I don't know what else to say except that I think that what we do is beyond what anybody else is doing right now in the industry. I'm very proud of the work we do. And I hope that if you're interested in working with us or learning more about this, that you come and set up a strategy session with me. You can message me on Messenger to get started in that conversation, or you can email Melody Edwards at homeserviceva.com, I think. Team, put that up right now on the screen so that they can see. And I think there's something else, but I can forget because I'm running late as always. Nothing is under 40 minutes. I'm late for my son. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope this was helpful. Let me know what you think. Good day. That's all I can say. Okay, guys, we will end the recording now. Thank you.